All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. It is another episode of the Corporate Life Show with McAden. I'm so excited to be here with us this wonderful Friday evening. This is the first Friday of the month of September 2024. And I am so excited, and you can't guess why I'm so excited. Why am I displaying my excitement? On the show tonight, it's going to be an interesting conversation on the show tonight because we have a special guest in the house and we're discussing a very important topic as it may concern you. You may be wondering, why are we discussing this? Why is this topic being considered at this point in time in this season? So please just wait behind. Let's go on with the conversation. As you have question, please drop your question. And of course, my name is Adeniyi Macarthy. I am your host. Every Friday evening, we do this here on the show, discussing topics that borders on your personal growth, your business, and your career life. So this is what we do at the Corporate Life Show with McAden. And tonight, as usual, yes, as usual, I will not be doing this conversation alone. I have a special guest in the house, and she will be dealing with questions from tonight's conversation. And I'm sure that most of you are excited. I'm sure you are happy to be here with us already. And we're going to commence the conversation very shortly. So, as we invite our guest into the studio tonight, thank you very much, Mrs. Adekemi Ayemibo. She'll be discussing the topic with us tonight, starting managing, and not just managing, scaling a successful educational business, especially in this part of the world. Thank you very much, Mrs. Adekemi, for joining us on the show tonight. How do you feel?
Thank you for having me. I feel so great. I feel so excited about being here.
All right. Feeling so great, feeling so excited about being here. And we are also here at the Corporate Live Show with Mark Aiden. Tonight is going to be an interesting one. I'm sure you guys are prepared to learn one or two things. Myself, I'm ready. I'm ready to learn one or two things because business is the only pathway to wealth. And of course, not I'm not going to miss out when it comes to educational business. So thank you very much, Mrs. Adekemi, for joining us on the show tonight. This is the Corporate Live Show with Mark Aiden, and we are so excited to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive into the scope of the questions we have for you tonight.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adekemi Ayemibo. I'm an educational consultant. I'm a school director. Our school is over 12 years now. So it's been a
Wow.
while. We've been in this business. I've been teaching for over 20 years. I've been teaching since while I was very young. I helped my parents because they were teachers. So I did a lot of school stuff, while I was young. Even while I was in school, I helped my teachers also. While I was in the university, we do tutorials and so teaching is, education is part of me.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that is it. I've worked in several places, several schools. I've worked in the corporate organization also
Mm-hmm.
before I came back to the education sector.
Mm, interesting, interesting. I have one particular question for you, but I think I should hold on to that questions, uh, so that I believe by the end of the conversation, I can tell you that okay, we'll both meet in heaven for our reward. Maybe I'm giving you an insight. Yeah, yeah. I want to believe that someone will ask a question related to that, maybe before the end of the conversation. If not, I'll bring it up along the conversation. So let's start. With the conversation tonight. I'm so excited. We'll be doing this. We started the topic for a educational business, and we have an educator and an educationist. Is we have a teacher. We have a space. We have a teacher. We have they say that. to everyone there tonight, even though I'm in the male gender category. So, but then tonight is not just about competing with one another, but about learning from one another so that we can do better in our space, especially for those who are interested in an educational line of business. So tonight, let's dive into the conversation. Thank you very much. And the first question goes to you, Mrs. Adekemi, for joining us tonight, and we're discussing. So let's have the first question. So, what inspired you to start your educational business, and what problem can you? I mean, does it solve for you? What problem does it solve for you?
Okay. Wow, what is my inspiration? Okay, let
Mhm.
me start by saying who is my inspiration. My inspiration is God, who is well. I can well. I can you hear me? A
Yeah,
lot
go
of
ahead, please. I
things
can.
a lot of things inspired me to go into education. I love working with teenagers. Why do I love working with teenagers? Because I see that some of these children, they need people to talk to. Some of them, they have challenges in their family life is not okay, so they need someone to really pour their heart, not just to talk, but pour their heart to. Someone that can be so down to earth with them, someone that can relate with as a friend. Okay, so when they see an adult that can be a friend.
Okay, I think we lost our guest there. I hope she's able to return back. Okay, she's back. She's back.
Hello.
Thank you.
Okay,
Uh,
so I
we
said
lost you for some
beyond.
seconds.
Okay, let me go back. And I said beyond academics, I like
Mm-hmm.
influencing, the young minds generally. So that's
Mm.
just my inspiration. Then I've had encounters with teachers in the past, teachers that taught me. So some were very good, very good. When I say very good, so I drew inspiration from there. That when I grow up and I'm a teacher, I would like to be like this person. And I've seen teachers that were very bad. That they
Mm.
were not. They didn't show good examples at all. And I'm like, if I can teach children, I won't do go this route. I won't be like this teacher. So those are my inspiration. Those are the things that motivated me to go into education. And by the grace of God, that has helped me to solve a lot of problems. I remember when I was 7, you know I taught in a school, and there were some set of boys that would not want to come to class. So
Mm.
those boys were already, they were written off. And when I got there, I would ask why they are not in class, and the friends would laugh that they don't come to class and all that. So I hunted for them, I searched for them, I brought them closer to myself, and with that I was able to influence them. And guess what? They started attending classes.
Mm. Interesting.
So with that, I've been able to reach out to children that have, they have lost hope. They didn't have anybody to talk to. And, I've been able to meet their needs to the glory of God.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. I think for me, what stood out for me there is the fact that you've been able to what reorganize a life missing on its right track on the journey of life, and that is an interesting one. I think that relates to what I said earlier on, that the reward of a teacher is in heaven. But I believe that teachers have started getting their reward even here on earth. Okay, thank you very much for answering that question. Let's go further into the questions we have for you today. And tonight's question two is what are the essential steps to take when starting an educational business, and what are the common mistakes to avoid from your own experience?
Okay, while starting an educational business, there are lots of things, to put into consideration. There are lots of steps to take. It's not something that you just sleep, wake up, and start. So let me just address the question without digressing. What are the steps? Okay, let's look at you need to consider the laws of the land. You want to do any business, not only education. You have to consider, what does the law say?
Mm,
What is the civic your duties? What are the things you're supposed to look out for? What are the laws of the land concerning the business you are doing? So I learned that a long time ago, that whenever you want to go into any business, check out what are the laws related to that business, so that you will not, at the end of the day, be doing something that is contrary to the law of the land. Then you have to consider the organization, the body in charge of your business. I'm talking about government body now. So you have to register with the Ministry of Education. You start, from the scratch. You are going to register your name first. They will approve your name. From there, you register with the Corporate Affairs Commission, with CAC. You don't say your business is a small business. You register later. It's good you do all that before you get so engaged. So when you are, duly registered, you have to do that, because you can't open an account, without all those registration. You don't want to run a business that you are just doing, keeping your money under your pillow. So you need to do due diligence in respect to documentation and all that. Then you need to go for training. You need to be well equipped for the journey that is ahead of you. As I said, you don't just wake up and say you want to go to into education. That it's not just teaching, just to teach children, you know. Yes, I've been teaching children even while I didn't have the education qualification. But when I wanted to start a school, I had to ensure that I get the necessary training. And the training cuts across a lot when you are starting an educational business. It's even beyond educational training alone. Educational training is part of it. So what field of education are you going into? So the field of education you are going into is what would determine the kind of training. Is it a preschool? If it's a preschool, then you need to go for training in that area. So how do you know the kind of training to go for? What is the trend? You need to know the kind of training you're going for and the right place to go for the training. You don't want to go for training somewhere that they will teach you something, that is a cake, a system that is a cake. So you yourself have to know, you have to um, you have to be updated to know the kind of training to attend. So if it's a preschool, what kind of curriculum do you want to run in your preschool? So the curriculum is what will determine the kind of training you're going to go for. Do you understand? If it's a primary school, what kind of primary school do you want to run? So what curriculum are you going to use? So that will determine your training. Is it a secondary school? What kind of curriculum are you running in your school? So that will inform the kind of training you're going to go for. You need training in the medical aspect also. Don't say you're not a medical person. What are you going to do? Trainings like CPR. You are just starting the business. Do you have a nurse? You need to do little things that nurses do. Pending the time you will get a nurse to assist you as the school goes, depending on how you're starting anyway. So you need training in the area of CPR and basic first aid. You need training as an entrepreneur in your business, how to manage your business, how to manage money. Remember, it's not only academics we are talking about. How to manage people, customer service, leadership training, very important. So you need to go for series of trainings. There are so many things. So let me just say, know the laws of the land, follow the laws, go for trainings, and equip yourself to start. Common mistakes people make is that they are not ready. They don't, go for these trainings. They don't equip themselves they don't have the technical know. There are so many things. When I wanted to start a school, initially I was thinking it's all about academics, but now it's not just all about academics. There are so many things you need to know about children, child rights, safety, policy, what's the best practice on safety and all that. So it entails a lot.
Wow, a lot, and lot more is what we're talking about on how you start a business and scale that business up to a level of a successful educational business. So that is what we're talking about tonight, and we do hope as we continue the conversation. Please, if you are joining us, drop a comment in the comment box over there and let's know where you are joining us from tonight, because of course we have a lot of educational information in terms of business that you can actually render. I mean, a lot of information will be shared on this platform tonight as we continue in the conversation. So quickly, we want to dive into the next questions for us on the show tonight, and that will take us to question three. Question three says, what are the common, I mean, the key element of a successful business plan for an educational business?
Okay, I remember when I wanted to start, you know, I used to work in I worked in a bank at some point, and that helped
Mm,
me when we are talking about business plan, your financial statement. So I didn't mention all those when I was talking about steps. You need to consider all those things too. So in your business plan, the number one thing is goal setting.
mm,
You are planning. Your business plan means that you want to put a plan down, that you are going to run with for your business. So what kind of plan? Business plans are important because someone can even tell you to submit a business plan. You need to do your plan, a 1 year plan, 2 year plan, 5 year plan, 10 year plan, 20 year. You know, you because you need to project. Successful people plan ahead. So a business plan is just, when you hear business plan, you don't have to be scared that business plan. Some people even give people, they ask people to do their business plans for them. Just keep it simple. Sit down. Business plan is all about stating what you want to do and how you are going to go about it. And it involves a lot, but the key thing there is your goal or your goals. What are your goals as a person? What do you want to achieve with the business you are going into? And that is a general thing. Any business, not necessarily educational. Then what is your market? You have to do market analysis, market survey. Many of us just go into business. You're not looking at your environment. Will people buy my product? So if it's education, don't say because it's education, they will always buy. Education, I don't need to do market survey. I don't need to. No, you just have to do your market
mm,
analysis. The place I'm going to use for my business, will people patronize me? Because if you open
mhm,
your business, just like every other business, education is more sensitive. So educationists too need to know business. There's a business of education. You do market
mm,
analysis, look at your environment. What can I do differently in this place? How can I get my customers? Can I even get customers here? So you need to put all those into consideration,
mm.
and so many
Interesting.
more.
Interesting. A lot of people would think that starting a school business is just having a space and then, I mean, just get furniture and then put them together. And I think uh, on that part, and because we are talking about light on the part of educational business, we want to quickly and light on questions: how can one develop a unique value proposition that, I mean, sets your educational business apart from other?
Okay, your unique value propositions. That's just like saying your unique selling points. Okay, so we are looking at values, we are looking at sets apart. What will set your business apart from other competitors? So you have to sit down and think about it. Okay, how is my business going to be different from other businesses around me? Don't say because it's a school business, I don't have to do all that, you know. You have to sit down and write out your unique selling point, because it's not fair actually. I'm going to use a common thing as an example. Okay, let's just say Gary. Someone is already selling Gary. We all know Gary, right? Okay. Someone is always also selling Gary food stuff in your on your streets, for instance. Why would you now open your shop and start selling Gary? Can you answer that question? Someone has already opened a Gary shop and now you are opening another one. You are just, trying to cause trouble. So why would you want to do that? Why would you want to be wicked to another person's business? Why would you want that person to go out of business? Why do you want competition? So if you want to start a business, you want to start your own Gary business, please, why is your Gary different from that woman's own? So that you will let people know that, okay, this is the type of Gary I'm selling. So there's a school already on your street, there's a school already in that area. Why are you starting your own school? Why don't you do any other business? So you have to be unique, you have to be different. Okay, this particular school does not have A, B, C, and I am providing it. So that will limit competition. You can have two schools on a street and there is no competition. Do you know that? So you can do that by having your own unique selling points. So if a school now, for instance, is on your street is for the elite, or the very rich people, you can start a school for the people that cannot afford that school. Do you understand? So that's where you're not competing with that school. Everybody know their level. Everybody knows his or her level. Do you understand? Or you want to consider, okay, morals. Our own focus is on good morals. Okay, the other school, this is what they do. So write out why do you want to start a school? Is it just because you want to earn money? There are so many schools already. We don't need more schools. But if you have something to bring to the table, you have something to offer us, then you can go ahead and start your school. Then we can come to your school because of the service you are rendering. So your product has to be different from what your next neighbor is selling. Those are your competitors. It has to be different. So at least you should have 5 USP, 5 unique selling points before you start your business. Thank you. What value are you bringing to the table?
Okay. Thank you very much. If you have 5 USP, uh, you know, you mentioned 5 USP as your last comment. What are the 5 USP that you will set up in a competitive location for a school? Maybe I should just ask that question.
Okay. Most schools don't pay attention to moral standards.
Mm,
All they do is, please let us just teach their children. We don't want their trouble. Let's teach their children and
mm,
go. They came here to learn. They came here to learn. And
mm,
that is really affecting our society now. You hear
mm,
teachers saying, they are just here to learn. Let them learn and go. And there is no moral value. You see a teacher and you are wondering, what impact is this teacher going to have in the life of my child? Education, coming to school is not only to come and learn how to read and write. That's not what education is all about. It's beyond that. Do you know, on the scale, if you run a scale, even teaching how to read and write does not come first. Social skills come first. And so if a school cannot offer good social skills, standard social skills to your children, then they are not performing their role as a school. So you can look at social skills. When I say social skills, I don't mean just going for excursion, because that's what some people think, just going out, going for excursion. What social do you put here, going for excursion? No, it's not about going for excursion.
mm,
How do you relate with people? How do you interact with your peers? Some schools, their the school climate is very tense. Children cannot thrive there socially. And when you see such children, Mr. Moderator, when you see such children, you will know them. You will see that this
Hmm.
person is not coming from a functional school or a functional home.
Hmm.
So what social need are you meeting? Morally, are you meeting the needs of the children? So those are values, those are unique selling points that in our school here, your child is going to be balanced academically and morally.
Hmm.
They say, it's
Hmm.
not moral. I can't. No. When the moral, when you see children that are well groomed, well behaved, they will stand out. And then when they do well academically, you know that those children are going places. Then
Okay.
look
Thank
at
you
your
very much, ma.
environment also. We are in the era of
Oh,
ICT. Are the schools around
yeah.
you, they teaching, there's some things that, you teach your children. There's graphics, there's coding now. Well, if those services are not available in your environment, you focus on that. So we do coding and robotics. We teach you how to code, developing websites. Those are unique selling points. Then what kind of methodology do you use to teach in your school? It's not all about having curriculum. Do you have the right methodology? So those are unique selling points. That's when this is the method we use to teach children, such that by the time your child is going to year one or primary one or basic one, that child can read. You know how many schools can boast that by the time their children are 5 years, they can read? Those are unique selling points. Do you want more?
Interesting. Well, that's left to the audience anyway. Well, I don't mind more of those unique selling points, but then because of our time, we will need to dive into other questions, and I mean we'll get more along the line. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is a privilege to have you on the show tonight, and I believe and I'm sure that the audience too, they are getting value for their time spent on the show tonight, because yes. Yes, and I think for us at Corporate Life Show, we'll be looking at specific areas of industry and be bringing. We come up with a discussion on that area of industry as it may affect those professionals concerned. And of course, we are doing this starting from the educational business. So thank you very much, Mrs. Fadekemi. I mean Adekemi Ayemibo, for being here on the show with us. So we want to go straight to the next question, and the next question says. What are the key considerations when developing a revenue model for year educational businesses? Yes, you mentioned something relating to you should not be focused on generating wealth through that the business of education. But then, whether you like it or not, money must come. So let us know. What's your response to this question?
Well, what are the key considerations when developing a revenue model? Okay, so in an education business, we can't say that we don't need money. Business is business. So in education, it's not different. It's still a business whether you like it or not. So you have to,
Mhm.
if you don't get money for your business, the business is going to go down. So education is peculiar when it comes to revenue model, okay? Because a lot of things are involved. Number one is that when the customers come, they stay with you for a long time. So unlike someone that is selling what along the way, can just be going and buy orange and that could be the end. Okay, tomorrow I might not need oranges. So but in a school, once a child comes,
Sorry for that. That is an error from my hand here. Sorry for that. You can continue.
okay, so if a child comes to my school and the child is in primary one, what's going to happen? The child will be in my school from primary one, primary two, three, four. Do you understand? So how do you develop a revenue model for that child? How the child will continue to come to your school, so that because that's customer service. So you have to consider a lot of things. How are you going to ensure that this after a while the person will not become a debtor in your school? Do you understand? So how are you able to generate money from them, and the money is coming at the right time? What are you going to charge them at different levels? You know, all these things you need to sit down and determine them. How do you want to uh, bill parents? What are the elements to consider? What are the things to consider before you set your price? How are they going to pay? How are they going to pay you? How do you ensure that they pay on time? So you have to ask yourself all these questions before you start. Because once you start, I said school business is peculiar in this revenue regard. Once you start a model, it is difficult to change it. Yes. Yes, education is peculiar in that area. Once you start a model, you develop a particular model, to change that model is difficult. You have to start re-strategizing. It's a lot of work.
Wow. Wow. All right, all right, no problem. Once you start, it's going to be a difficult one to start. So start right, and that is the essence of the conversation we're having tonight. And it's been an ongoing conversation here, and we'll continue as time will permit us to deal with other questions on the show tonight. So dealing with other questions, we're looking at question six. How can one balance the business side with the educational mission and values?
Okay, so when you ask asking this question now, I'm wondering how can you balance the business side with it? It's like you know what is going on, right?
Yeah.
In the educational sector. Yes, because when you have your values, people
Mm,
would like to change your values for you and say, why do you have this kind of value? These are our own value. And we are the one that want to buy from you. Do you get it? So why would you be the one to give us your own value? We are the one bringing money on the table. So it is my own value you are going to, you know, imbibe. So that is a conflict, and it takes wisdom, to manage that. You have to balance it. So there's the area of flexibility and firmness. You have to be flexible and firm at the same time. Okay, so when it comes to your values and your mission, how you are going to achieve your goal, you are firm. What are your values? You say, okay, you want to be a school that will not engage in examination malpractice, for instance, or you want to be a school that is disciplined, and someone comes and say, I don't want to be disciplined. I don't want you to discipline my child. I don't want my child to just be behaving anyhow. After all, I'm the one paying the money. Okay, so you have to strike a balance. And you have to help children in the exam.
mm,
You have to do this. Then you have to know that this is your value. So you have to be firm when it comes to your values.
mm,
Then in the area you can be flexible at those things that are not your values, are, it doesn't really matter if yield to what your customer wants. But when it gets to the things that matter, you have to be firm. They might not like you, but they will respect you. They know that, okay, in this place, this is what is obtainable. If you want quality education, if you want your child to be well developed morally, just go to this school. Do you understand? So you just have to strike a balance. It's a
mhm,
business, but it's a peculiar business because you are dealing with children. You will not say, so that the customer will not be angry with you. Just treat the child in a way that you know that that child will not it's going to affect the child in future.
sorry, you can
You
continue,
there?
man. Sorry.
So you know that if you don't do the right thing, it's going to affect this child in the future, and then you also will be blamed. So we need to strike a balance there, and know when to be firm when it comes to good values. We are firm And when they know that you are fair, your customers know that these are your values, then they will abide by those values.
All right. Know when to be fair, abide by those values, and your customers will also abide with you. All right, thank you very much. It's been an interesting conversation here on the show. Yes, yes, and yes, we've gotten a lot of value, but then more value as we speak more on this topic tonight. We're going straight to question 7 on the show. And the question 7 says, what are the most important questions? Questions and skills, qualities and skills one should look for when hiring educators and staffs for business and education.
Wow. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you.
What are the most important? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you don't, it's not just one actually. Okay, let me start by saying the first one is competence.
Mm.
Competence. Your educators need to be competent. We can't rule that out at all. You don't want to employ educators that will teach your children the wrong thing. And when I say competent, I don't mean their certificates alone. I don't mean you just collect certificates from them and you say, okay, this person has BSc, this person has B.Ed. No. When I say competent, plus their certificates, you will conduct tests and interviews for them to be sure that that certificate they are holding, they are worthy of the certificates. They have to be worthy of that certificate that they are holding. So you conduct tests for them to ensure that they can do the job. So you have to consider competence. The person has to know what he or she is teaching the children. The knowledge is passing across. Secondly, there are some soft skills. Okay, there are some qualities that you need to look out for. Apart from competence, the person has to be teachable, because when the person is coming to your organization, you don't want the person to come with old archaic things. You want to brush the person up, you want to teach the person. The person has to be teachable and humble, and also the person has to be friendly, because you are teaching children. The person has to be friendly, accommodating. So these are the things we look out for when employing people, when hiring people. You have to check competency. You have to check some qualities like um, humility, um, um, friendliness, teamwork, social skills. They are very important.
All right, friendliness, teamwork, competence. It are those things you need to check for when hiring. So thank you very much, Mrs. Adekemi, for those highlights. We have more questions coming in for us on the show, and that's why we're going to question 8. Question 8 is, what are the most significant challenges you are faced in the education industry, and how did you overcome them?
Okay. Challenges. Okay. Ah, well, in the area of HR,
Mhm.
I told you that when I was coming into the education sector, I was coming with the passion that I want to teach children, I want to impact knowledge, I want to influence them. I wasn't looking at the area of HR, managing people. You know,
Mm.
a lot of businesses go down because of that.
Mm.
Not just because the person doesn't is not competent. Managing people is a whole lot. Managing people, managing teachers, managing parents, not only managing staff generally, it takes a lot of wisdom, especially in the school. Managing parents takes a lot of wisdom. You are always, you know, children are, when you are competent, you know what to do with children. You don't have any problem with children. You understand? When you have your methodology right, you have your curriculum, everything. But the HR aspect of it, relating, managing parents, as I told you, especially in a private school setting, it's a business, so it's private. You have asked the question earlier, how do you balance it? Your values are there. Someone is saying you should move away from your values, you should face another direction. You have to be conscious of the fact that you have values. So you have people to manage there. You have reasonable people, you have unreasonable people, you have realistic people, unrealistic people, and so on. Then the staffing part of it, people just at times you to recruit people, takes a lot, especially when you have your standard in your school. Recruiting people can, be really, really very tasking, because I said it's not, we in our school, we don't look at the competency of the teacher alone. We don't just look at your certifications. No, we carry out tests. At times we would interview, like, I don't know, a sizable number of people, and then we will not pick anyone out of all of them, because they couldn't pass the test. Then after passing the test again, you have to check, are these people, do they have team spirits? Are they going to be functioning in our organization? You can imagine. So the process is somehow long, because we are not just employing them to come and sell foodstuffs or sell books. We are employing them to come and deal with people, to relate with children. So they have to be intelligent, they have to be patient, they have to be kind, they have to be friendly, as I said. So a lot of things are involved. Those are the major challenges for me.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you. Thank you. Going straight, I want to understand how to handle the challenges of HR, handle the challenges of managing the children and their parents also. I think we need to dive into the next question so that we have more clarity. Why you plan to start your educational business? So question 9 asks, uh, can you share your experience with scaling your business, and what challenges did you face particularly?
Oh, well, okay.
Especially at that point
Our
when you move
school,
from point A to point
the
B.
school started, yes, the school started very small. When I
Mhm.
say very small as you can imagine.
Mm.
So scaling was something we were doing very often. So we had to keep on scaling, and so we started from the baby class. So as the children were growing, we had to scale. Do you understand? So we had to move to kindergarten. We have to move to the primary school. From primary school, and now we are starting our secondary school. Then even while we started while we moved to the primary school, we didn't just have primary 1 to 6. There was a point we had primary 1 and 2. There was a point we had primary 1, 2, 3, primary 1, 3, 4, primary 1, so on and on like that. And now, by the grace of God, we are starting our secondary school. So it's the experience was, I think is for me, it was very nice, because I love change. So a lot of things were changing. So for me, that was just it. I love improvements. I love dynamism, things changing and all that. So it was fun for me, having to say, okay, next session we are starting a new class, and now starting a new school. So it was a fun experience for me. Then the challenges, well, the challenge of having to restructure, you know, improve on our policies, do different things. I remember we were starting the secondary school, and there was something I just remember that, wow, we've not done this. How on earth will we not put this into consideration? All those kind of things. We just have to do them. But, well, in all, I don't really see much challenges anyway. Than maybe you have to, as you are improving, you have to get more funds. You want to scale, you need more funds. So what we do is to start small. So that is just my own strategy. Start small with whatever amount you have.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. The idea there is start small and grow big. And we started small. We started from question one, and now we are going big, and then we are moving forward in the questions. I mean, we're now in question 10, and we're going to go to the last question very soon. But then question 10, we're going bigger. Question 10 is how do you stay up to date with industry trends, innovations, and then adapt to changes in the educational business, because information is actually key. So how do you cope with those changes?
Well, a lot of changes happen in the education sector. Um, for me, is not a challenge. All I do is to attend trainings. I try as much as possible to attend trainings to know what is the new trend. I do market survey by myself. When I say market survey now, I don't mean only just customer survey. Generally, okay, what are the new things? What are the new textbooks we have now in the industry? What is the latest about curriculum, the British curriculum? What is the new thing? I attend trainings to know what is new. What is new about the Nigerian curriculum? What are the updates? What are the things that are there that are okay, that are not okay? Which one should we adopt in the British curriculum? Which one should we not adopt? Then, okay, another thing we do is, we don't shield our children from writing external exams. Okay, so when our children go out, we try to find out, okay, how well did they perform in those exams? In what area are we lagging behind, so we can work on them? When our children, like, we didn't have secondary school, when our children are going to write exams to go to secondary school, to the point that even when they get to those schools, we still keep in touch with them. We interview those children. We find out what, when you get to your school, what are the challenges you face. So we note them down. Okay, in the area of maybe ICT, we need to improve in this. In the area of this, we need to improve in that. So we note them down and we work on them. So those are ways we keep up with new trends. New trends cut across different areas. New trends in curriculum, new trends in textbook, new trends in ICT world. So ICT is the in thing now. This is the technology age. So we need to keep up in that area. We organize training for our teachers. Recently, we did trainings on AI, how teachers can use AI tools to improve the learning experience of the children. So we've done that already. Our educators are well equipped. So we just have to keep up, and we've been doing that.
All right, thank you very much. Just keep up with the latest information, and keep doing that. Thank you very much. And then we're going to go to the last questions. Uh, the last question we have for you tonight on the show. And the last question is what advice would you give to an entrepreneur looking to start or scale their business, their own educational business?
Whew, advice. Okay, I have a lot, but I'll just mention some. Well, depending on how you want to start, our advice, if you don't have so much money, because it involves a lot of money, just start small. Because if you start big and you don't have money to fund it, you won't be able to keep any standard at all. So when you start small, you'll be able to ensure with the small space you can maintain the standard you want, or you can start with the standard you want. Have clear goals. So don't say because I am just starting small, you don't have goals. Have, go your plans for 5 years, for 10 years. So let your goals be clear. Let your goals be result oriented. Have strong values. What are your values? What are your unique selling points? We have discussed all that, so I'm just reviewing them. Go for trainings. Don't say it's just teaching, everybody can teach. No, you are starting a business, an educational business. Get yourself equipped for it. But any training that has to do with leadership, how to manage money, how to manage business, and so on and so forth. I told you about even some medical aspects of it, children's psychology, and so on. Then I talked about being firm. So as you want to be a school owner, you want to go into education, be firm. You have to be disciplined. You also have to be flexible in some areas, and you have to ensure your business is profitable. Remember, you always stay in business by making profits. Apart from having your financial statement, financial plan, all those accounting, blah 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 blah, ensure all the calculation also is on your head. How money is coming in, what percentage is going out. Don't just rely on book alone. Book, there is profit, physically no profit. You just have to ensure that things balance up. Professionalism is key. Professional in what you are doing, be up to date. We have talked about being up to date. Don't be an archaic school or an archaic organization. Maintain an excellent school climate, an excellent environment for children to thrive, and so many more. Finally, their children, ensure that they are always safe. So I will just stop at that. I have so many other tips, but I believe with this we are good to go.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ma. We appreciate you. We thank you for the time spent on the show tonight. It's been a wonderful time, and I mean, we should give it up for Mrs. Adekemi Ayemibo uh, for the time spent with us on the show tonight. She has dealt with most of the questions we have for her, but then I left a question out of the questions list earlier, and I'm going to just make it light and let's wrap it up with this question. Would you say that the reward of teachers is in heaven?
Well, just like every other business, I don't see any difference actually. Most people feel that educationists, they are the low level, they should earn a little more. No, things are changing now. you know Educators too are standing, and standing up for themselves, that it's a profession just like every other profession. Just like we have doctors, we have the medical field, you go there and they treat you. That's how you send your children to school. In fact, our own is even more sensitive, because we are dealing with human beings, we are training them for a long time. So I believe teachers should be paid well. Teachers should be paid well. You can't say this particular people. So our reward, but the good thing about teaching profession is that our reward is also in heaven too. God reward, not just our reward is also from heaven, because we are dealing with children. Some teachers are teaching children that cannot talk. They are still very tender. So there is no way we supposed to have double reward. So I believe that that saying is supposed to be, teachers reward also come from heaven, not just is in heaven, comes from heaven. Apart from what we are earning, God also blesses the work of our hand, because it's not the work we are doing is not the work teachers do, is not small work at all. It's a whole lot of work. It takes humility, it takes discipline, it takes passion and compassion to be able to do the work
Hmm,
of a teacher. So teachers should be
hmm,
commended with high.
interesting.
Get Did you
Interesting.
get that?
Maybe one of these days. Yeah, I get that. uh, Teachers' reward also comes from heaven. So more reward here on earth, and in heaven. So that's the summary about that question. But then maybe one of these days we'll bring in a doctor and then an educationist to a head-to-head conversation. Who should be more paid, a doctor or a teacher? Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It has been a wonderful conversation here at the Corporate Live Show with McAden. Today's episode marks the first show, in the month of September, and we have more interesting topic for us throughout the month of September. And tonight we've done so well tweeting the questions all around starting, scaling, business and education. And tonight's conversation has been dealt with the assistant of the guest on the show tonight, Mrs. Adekemi Ayemibo. So sorry, Mrs. Adekemi Ayemibo, who has been done so well on the show tonight. And then from all of us at Corporate Live Show, and from every members of the team at Corporate Live Show, and all our audience, those that are watching right now, and those that will be watching in the future, we just want to say a very big thank you to you for being here on the conversation, staying tuned on the conversation till the end of this conversation. Up to this hour of the night, and we ensure that all questions are dealt with practically as simple as possible on the show tonight. So we say a thank you, and we will not just say thank you with word of mouth, and we want to say thank you, a very big thank you here on the screen. Thank you very much for being, a wonderful contributor to the success of our live show interview session at the Corporate Live. So we appreciate you, ma. We say God bless you. And we're saying God bless you because we believe that your reward will start coming immediately right now. So thank you.
Amen.
All right. So it's been a conversation here on the show at Corporate Live. And till we meet again next time at the Corporate Live Show. On the Corporate Live Show, please join us again next week, same time. We'll be discussing a fantastic topic as it borders on your career life and family life or business life. Till we meet again, we want to say bye bye to everyone and have a lovely weekend. Bye bye to you, Mrs. Adekemi Ayemibo.
Thank you. Have a lovely night. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining.